What's up everyone, Games Apprentice back with another video, and today I'm going to be looking at these hidden gems on the Nintendo Switch. Welcome to the world of Dragon Quest Builders 2, where the only thing more magical than the dragon slaying is the therapy session you're going to need after building your own kingdom from scratch. In this charming pixelated paradise, you play as a builder, a term that sounds like it should come with a hard hat and a union card. Your mission? Rebuild a world that's been mercilessly flattened by a rather unpleasant group of naysayers called the Children of Harrigan. Start off by customizing your character. You get to choose between generic hero and slightly less generic hero. Spoiler alert, both have the same superpower, making things out of nothing. But the hair colour, that's on you. You'll gather resources, craft items and build structures in a fashion that will make your inner architect weep with joy. Think of it as Minecraft but with fewer creepers and more existential dread about whether your castle's moat is deep enough. When you're not busy playing the world's most ambitious LEGO set, you'll fight off monsters. They're not just there for XP, they also seem to have a personal vendetta against the idea of a well-maintained garden. The game's story is a whimsical romp through classic RPG tropes with a side of dark humour. You'll meet a cast of quirky characters, each one more eccentric than the last. They'll give you quests that make you wonder if building a colossal statue of myself is truly the pinnacle of human achievement. Eventually, you'll find yourself building massive structures, engaging in epic battles, and discovering that your time management skills become as impressive as your architectural prowess. So if you've ever dreamed of mixing RPG adventure with a touch of DIY home improvement, Dragon Quest Builders 2 is your ticket to pixel-perfect fantasy. Just remember, in this game, you're not just saving the world, you're furnishing it. Next up, we have Ghost 1.0. Now, don't let the name fool you, this isn't a spooky game, but it might just haunt your thoughts for a while. Ghost 1.0 is a Metroidvania with a bit of a twist. You play as a robot agent disguised as a ghost. I mean, we've all felt like a ghost in some way, right? Just floating around, trying to blend in. But this game takes it to the next level. Not only do you get to possess enemies, but you also get some pretty sweet upgrades along the way. Now let's talk about the humour in this game. The developers clearly knew they were onto something here. They packed Ghost 1.0 with dry jokes, which I can appreciate. If you like the kind of humour where you're not sure whether to laugh or nod in mild appreciation, this game's got you covered, as was this channel. So if you're in the mood for some hacking, blasting and haunting, Ghost 1.0 is a solid choice. Just be ready to dive into a story that's almost as twisted as your sense of humour. Let's move on to the next game. And next we've got Wargroove. Now if you've ever played Advance Wars and thought, this could use more dragons, you're in luck. Wargroove is a tactical turn-based game where you command armies, strategize moves, and try to pretend like you're some kind of tactical genius. When I first saw Wargroove, I was really excited about it because it looks like Fire Emblem. I recall sporting my Wargroove pin badge one of the Chucklefish reps gave me proudly for months, but then I played it and found it was actually more Advance Wars than it was Fire Emblem. From the outside you're probably thinking these games are the same, but they're absolutely not. I shunned it and didn't come back to it until this year, after I played the excellent Advance Wars Remastered and remembered I really like that too. Once I started I couldn't put it down, and for some reason everyone swooned over Unicorn Overlord, but Wargroove flew under the radar. Don't let it fly under your radar. The game starts out simple enough, but before you know it, you're knee-deep in tactical decisions that will make you question every life choice you've ever made. And trust me, that'll happen more than once. Plus, the game lets you create and share custom maps, because nothing says relaxing afternoon like designing the ultimate trap-laden battlefield to ruin someone else's day. But in all seriousness, Wargroove has some surprisingly deep mechanic and a charming art style that almost makes you forget that you're sending pixelated units to their doom. So if you're looking for a tactical game that will keep you awake at night plotting your next move, Wargroove is the one for you. Next up is Murder by Numbers, a game that takes things that have absolutely nothing to do with each other, murder mystery and Picross puzzles, and somehow makes it work. Because who hasn't thought solving crimes would be a lot more fun if I had a bunch of 90s style logic puzzles along the way. If you've ever seen the TV crime show Numbers, it's absolutely nothing like that. Thank God. You play as an actress who suddenly finds herself solving actual murders. But of course she's not alone. She's got a robot companion named Scout, all in capital letters. who's great at detecting clues and also just happens to look like he wandered off the set of a 90s Saturday morning cartoon. Together, they unravel crimes using good old-fashioned deduction and by solving puzzles that look like they were designed by a very bored math teacher. The writing in this game is top-notch and the humour is just the right blend of dry and quirky. So if you've ever wanted to dive into a mystery game but thought it could use a little more pixel art math, Murder by Numbers is one for you. You'll laugh, you'll scratch your head, and you'll question why you're so invested in solving a murder using tiny grid puzzles. But hey, it works. If you're a fan of the Ace Attorney games, or Picross games, ideally both, you'll definitely enjoy this one. Now let's talk about Oninaki. This game is from Tokyo RPG Factory, a studio that decided regular RPGs just weren't depressing enough. Tokyo RPG Factory was a short-lived subsidiary of Square Enix, and Oninaki flew under the radar for many. If you played Tokyo RPG Factory's other two games, I Am Setsuna and Lost Sphere, you'd think you'd know what to expect from Oninaki, but whilst those two games play it safe as bog-standard turn-based JRPGs, Oninaki is an action RPG with a much darker premise. Oninaki takes you through a world where your job is to help restless souls find peace. Sounds wholesome, right? Well, you also get to hack and slash your way through hordes of monsters, so there's a little something for everyone. In Oninaki, you play as a watcher, a sort of spiritual guide with a sword. Along the way, you collect these demons that lend you special abilities in combat. Imagine collecting Pokemon, but instead of cute creatures, you get vengeful spirits who have some sort of unresolved issues. Each demon changes your playstyle, so there's quite a bit of variety, which is nice if you're like me and get bored easily. The game's story is definitely on the darker side. Let's just say it raises questions about life, death, and why Tokyo RPG Factory thinks we all need to lie down and reevaluate our existence. If you're in the mood for an action RPG with a solid story element, existential crisis, and a side of spectral buddies, Oninaki is worth a look. Just don't blame me if you start feeling extra philosophical. As always, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, and if you're interested in the content, subscribe to the channel for more rankings, reviews, and hidden gems. Hopefully, I'll catch you next time.